Hi, I'm Tim Scheffer. I understood the word extraordinary and positivo, so that sounded good. The rest I did not understand. So I'm Tim Scheffer. I'm 25 years old. I'm from the Netherlands, and I was asked to give a presentation to you. I will talk about the adventure of becoming a next generation designer. So we all are in the pathway to becoming the next generation designer. And nowadays, design schools, they are quite beautiful in their playfulness, and it's like a playground, stimulating yourself to develop your skills as a designer and your design identity and vision. But when you graduate, it could mean an abrupt end to your freedom of speak in this world of imagination and possibilities if you don't have the handholds to, approach business and meet job requirements. So I think mentoring in design schools is very important. For me, the playground where I was taught to get rid of conventions and let my mind go wildly to funky ideas was the Technical University of Eindhoven, where I studied industrial design, the bachelor. And the bachelor is really about interactive design and intelligent systems for societal transformation. Big value to create with design. And it's really interesting. I worked on projects like intelligent playgrounds for children with obesitas to get them to move and motivated for movement. Robots to make elderly, demented people smile because they don't have support all the time. A dowsing rod with what you normally search water for. I designed one with what you can find people from who you can learn, and these kind of things. So I was really wild and funky with all these ideas, and then I graduated and I had to find a job. And that was really difficult because I had this whole reality in my mind that design is really funky and you can do whatever you want. That is the case, but it's really difficult to find that opportunity for yourself. So searching for a job, first this slide. This is a bit this designer paradox, and I think in a lot of projects that people do, you will come across this situation. Designers think most of the time like this. They think big and wild and crazy, and they want everything, like a Swiss Army knife. They want to save the world. The user needs actually just a little ramp with a bike. And if you're lucky, you'll settle somewhere in between. For me, this was also the case with my job. I wanted the rocket, and the business wanted just the ramp and the bike, and I settled somewhere in between. Looks maybe a bit boring, I don't know, or maybe really high tech. I started to work in production automation to design and manage production lines for, this is the Mini Cooper for BMW. And it's really technical. So I went from designing crazy, I don't know, playgrounds to designing tools to weld a robot or to weld a car. And this reality did not match anymore. So I had the reality that was taught to me in the playground, in the schools, in the walls of the schools. If you have a classical teaching, you will copy most often the reality of the teacher. If you have a design thinking class, you will create one of your own, but you need internships to, test and experiment if your ideas about the world are correct. And this was not my vision, this was not my identity. It's really interesting on people who do it. They're very talented and interesting work, but it was not for me. So what I went to do is to go back to my vision and identity I developed in school, and that was about a little bit about social design. And what I'm interested in is that people are not that fond anymore about products or services. It's a bit done. They want experiences. If you do graphic design, you have the graphic thing. Okay, that's one, but the people are searching for the experience. If Apple creates a new phone, it used to be like a big hype, and now it's maybe 2 hours and the hype is gone. So people want to feel something, they want emotion. And in order to do this, I will take a sip of water, sorry. And in order to do this, I seek for combinations of societal forces and natural forces. There are, in cities and wherever you live, there are forces of society like culture, tradition, behavior, and there are, of course, natural forces like wind, light, whatever you like. And these crossing points, people cross them every day and they are not aware of what's happening. And I really like to make people aware of this hidden beauty. This is one project I want to show you. It's called Ripples. They're water drip shapes this big, and they're made out of scrap metal, demolition metal, which I folded by hand in the shape of a water drop that's catched in mid-air, so it doesn't touch the ground yet. And you can have a time for relaxation, meditation. You could eat there, you could meditate, you could cuddle with your loved one. And it's really about this place in the city where you want to be connected, but also a bit private space. And people tend to get isolated very much because they are on their display every day for a longer time. And I want them to be in the city and be part of what's happening, the urban scenery, but also provide them with a piece of secure tranquility. I made several of these. I made a fully black one with a black leather, and it looked really funky, in which you are totally isolated. And in this one, it's made out of recycled plastic, and it has this transparency, so you are in contact with the city, but have your space for your own. You see the city, you see a silhouette of the city, and the city sees a silhouette of you, but you can be in peace with that. And then I also made one for inside, that's this one. It's with growing hedera. So if you're in a concrete office and you're totally bored with your colleagues and you want just a peace of mind, you can go in this jungle of hedera and just look at the wonderful leaves. You can swift a little bit and be relaxed. And here is also a daytime picture of this triple. And also what's really nice, but not really thought of in the beginning, is the acoustic is really crazy in this thing because it's almost like a perfect sphere. So when you talk in this, in the middle, you will hear yourself as speaking in your head. It's really funky. You should try it one, if you want. The next project, by the way, if you have any questions, please stop me because I talk very fast. I don't know if that's okay. The next project, this is Flumens. It's a wind light art installation I made in Amsterdam and in London. It's made out of 600 windmills this size. So this is the propeller and this is the tail that points it towards the wind direction. And I made 600 of them by hand. A lot of joy doing that. And I placed them in big sails, and it's a bit of a reference to the Dutch sailing quality, and I wanted to make them here in the bridge. And again, this is a pathway of people going to work and going home every day, and they're just not aware of their surroundings, not aware of the forces that pass by. I really love to combine science, art, and design, because I think there's a tension between these fields, and you can create great value with that. So what they would do is they would visualize the wind and make these abstract notions like wind and light a bit tangible. People can play with them without losing its magic. I will show you a short movie, if that's okay. Oh, it's lagging a bit. So with more force of the wind, they get other colors, and they show the dynamics of the flow of the wind, and yeah, make it interactive. A lot of people ask me how long do the batteries last, or where's the wire. They did not really understand that it was really wind power until they started to interact with the system. Oh. Yeah, here you see also the people trying to see what it does. It was really nice to see that big groups, they have a group dynamic, and they started to try to, with their body, make a shadow in front of these light sails. Then the third project I would like to show you is Wishmas tree. It's a tree I made for the Red Cross charity organization to raise money for children in conflict areas, so in war areas. And it's just a really funky, maybe a little bit kitsch Christmas tree made out of 7,000 bottles. I again put them with hand on the thing. But I had help, and that's really nice about this project. It's about participation. And I think it's wonderful if you let the user, or in my case, the spectator, participate in the design process or in the building process. So what you could do in this Wishmas tree, which is a Christmas tree with wishes, for a small fee for the Red Cross, you could get a piece of paper and write your wish for the world or for your loved ones or for yourself, of course, also very important. You could write it on the paper and put it in a bottle and then screw the bottle to the tree and it would get a little light. So together with the whole city, you would put up this Christmas tree and have like this moment of sharing thoughts and love. Did I forget something? No, I think that's it. Then the final project I would like to show you is Algae Living. It's a bit of a conceptual thing. Should have been way bigger, but a bit of time deadline. So it's a small maze, and it starts off transparent. Now it's green, but when I put it there, it's just a carcass, a skeleton of an installation. And within these glass panels, which I got from the demolition of flat buildings within a city, so a flat got demolished and the materials should be recycled, but that takes a lot of energy to recycle these windows. There is in between, there's a piece of aluminium and glue. It has to be cut loose, and the glue has to be burned because it cannot be recycled. The glass has to be melted, and also the aluminium, which takes a lot of energy. And I said, we should do something different with these materials. Maybe we can use them in the shape they are. And then I got commissioned to design a greenhouse with these windows, but that was a bit too easy for me, I think. So I thought maybe I can do something within the window. So I drilled a hole inside of the windows, and the first 30 windows, they cracked, of course. But then finally I found a solution to do that, and I put water with nutrition inside the panel, and I created a kind of bioreactor. So what I would do is put this installation there in the city center, and all the inhabitants could walk a route through the city and collect small containers with live algae, edible algae, so in sense the crops. And what they would do is they would come at my, the route would end at my installation, and there would be like a little bit of a laboratory setup. There would be syringes at the panels. They could, without any explanation, it's the affordance of the installation itself, they would get the algae out of the container and spray it inject it into the bioreactors. And then over time, within 1 week, 2 weeks, they would grow greener and greener until they were done. So this one was a bit sick, I don't know what happened, but the other one, they were really green. And what I could do is harvest the algae, dry them, and then I cooked food for all the inhabitants of the city that wanted to see the algae. So I really like this co-creation kind of thing, because with art and architecture and also with design, I think public ownership is really important. And you see so often that statues are placed, and I find them really ugly. And that's not that bad, but the people that live around the statue, they need to think that it's nice. If I would have put it there and nobody would be interested, it would still be transparent. So it's nice to get like a direct feedback in public space of people trying to interact. So it's not only about designing something, it's also about getting like a user test. It's our small test of psychology that trigger people to behave in a certain way. And maybe they will, maybe they won't. What else did I want to tell? No, I think that's it. Yeah, this co-creation, and in my study it was really nice. We did like a half year, you do a project, you choose your own setting, your own context. So for example, for this project I did, it was not in my study, but it would be kind of the same. I want to do something with art, design, technology, and I want to create value. And this you see coming in more and more studies. So to summarize, I think we are all designers. We are a species of people that think that we are unique, and we want to profile ourselves with our identity. But these things that design thinking is called, empathizing, defining, ideating, prototyping, and testing, everybody does that. Maybe prototyping not, but everybody does this. And I think as a designer, you should just be aware that everybody is capable of doing that, and you're just the link, you're the mediator between all these stakeholders, all these facets of design, and combining it. My point being, getting there to become the next generation designer is quite difficult, I think. It's a struggle, but that's maybe also good. It would be really nice if there are schools that mentor you towards business. My school did not have, they have a lot of knowledge inside, but they don't have the connection to business, and that's something I missed a bit. But try to live your dreams and keep your dreams alive, even though it's not always possible. You should try to make them real and design in your passion, because you have your identity as a designer. You create a vision of what you prioritize in design, and I think it's very important to try to keep true to that. And that's what I wanted to tell you. So, thank you.